Good morning, everybody. I, I'm going to go ahead and go over test review number 6 with you. So let me go ahead and get started. Now, on this first one right here, where it talks about, you see how, let's read the instructions. So question 1, is asking us find the rate of change for each function below. So let's look at the first one, y equals negative 0.5. Now, what's important to keep in mind is that when you see a rate of change, it means slope. So if you're dealing with slope, first thing you got to be looking for is make sure that everything's in our format of slope-intercept form, y is equal to mx plus b. Now if you notice, this one there's an absence of an x, which indicates that this is b. So if there's no x, it could only be one value, which is 0x. That's the only reason why it wouldn't show up in our slope-intercept form of the equation, which means that our slope, which is this m part here, is 0. That's the implications that I get with that one. And again, this is a rate of change. Make sure you memorize or write down slope. So if you ever see this word, you know what it's referring to. Now on this one right here, this one does have an x, but it's not in the right form. Remember, this is called standard form. Standard form, because we have this format of ax plus by is equal to c. Luckily for us, we have this conversion that gets done with this formula, negative ABC. Always remember negative ABC. And then from there, we just substitute our value for A. And if you like, just to make as a precautionary thing, you can write down the values for A, B, and C. It's probably the best thing you could do, because what it will produce is the ability for you to go ahead and just take this, like right here, I need the opposite of A, which is negative 47. B, which is negative 13, C, which is 20, and B, which is negative 13. Now, a lot of people will want to go ahead, I didn't have that part of it in there. A lot of people will want to go ahead and give me all the information. They will want to write the whole thing in here. However, remember that this is really y is equal to mx plus b. So it doesn't want the whole thing. All it wants is slope. That's the only answer it wants. It wants to know what is the slope of that equation. And the slope of that equation, this part of it here. Now I'm not going to put it in like that because it might be able to reduce. I know it won't, because I just know because I know the numbers. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what you should be doing in every case. In every case, you should type it in negative 47 divided by negative 13. Go to MathFrac, and it'll tell you it's 47 or 13. That's your slope to this equation. Your slope on this one is 47 over 13. Now let's go ahead and look at the next one. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so you'll be able to get a better view of the whole problem. Okay. Now this question is asking us, write an equation of a line that is parallel to negative 2x plus y is equal to 8 and passes through the point 86. First of all, parallel means that your new equation, this is going to be one of those problems. If they ever they want something that's parallel and they give you a point, that means you're going to be given the slope and a point. And with the slope and a point, we got to do this whole thing of finding out what the equation is using the following manner. First of all, I got to convert this as well to find what the slope is. So let me go ahead and convert it. Let me start with the equation. Y is equal to negative AB C over B x plus this. And let's begin with A. The opposite of A is, well, let me write it in here. A is negative 2, B is 1, and C is 8. So let me go ahead and take the opposite of A, which is negative 2, is positive 2. So we're going to have 2 over 1x plus 8 over 1. So in this case, my equation of this one is y is equal to 2x plus 8. Now, the important part that I keep in mind is that part, that I'm given the slope of 2. So I'm going to go ahead and refer back to this, that really my m is 2, and my point that I've been given is 8, 6. So now that I got that figured out, now I have to go ahead and actually figure out what equation will have a slope of 2 and pass through the point 8, 6. So for that, I'm going to go ahead and use my equation y is equal to mx plus b. And the reason I'm going to use that, actually I could go ahead and already start doing part of the problem, because if you think about it, I already could write in, and this is where we're going to put my answer, y is equal to 2x. What I don't know is what's my b part. That's what I'm going to find out over here. So I'll box this out because that's what my answer is going to be at the end. Now let me go ahead and put in the points I do know. Okay, this is x and this is y. These are going to go in here. 6 is equal to 2 times 8 plus b. I need to solve for b. So from here I have 6 is equal to 16 plus b. Subtract 16, subtract 16. This cancels. This produces negative 10 is equal to b is equal to 10, negative 10. So put negative 10 in here. Now the important part that you may want to do is that once you solve it, this point, this equation should contain, well, we know it has that slope because it's already present, but it needs to contain that point. So if you ever want to check your equation to make sure it's correct, just go ahead and type it into your calculator, and you should find that point in your calculator. If you don't find it, that means, this is how you check it. If you don't find it, that means you have something wrong. So let me bring up the table, and let me look for the point 86. Go to 8. Now you see how it says right there 86? That means I have a correct equation, so I have a correct answer. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. Now this one's a bit easier. I'll tell you why. This one just says graph a line that has a slope negative 3/4 and contains the point 8, negative 4. Now this one, they already give us a slope. It's just given to us in words. This is my m, and I got a point. So I'm going to do the same process I did just above. I'm going to start with my equation. Actually, I probably could even write on part of my answer. Y is equal to negative 3/4 x plus the b that I don't know. Here's where my answer is going to be at. What I need to do is figure out the rest. So I'm going to start with y is equal to mx plus b, and start with my slope-intercept form of the equation, and then go ahead and use that. So let me go ahead and substitute the values. Now this is x and y here. So I'm going to put x and y. Okay, my y is negative 4. My m is negative 3/4, and my x is 8 plus b. Okay, so then from here, I'm going to go ahead and solve for b. So I got negative 4. Now negative 3/4 times 8, that's done in the calculator. Okay, so negative 3 divided by 4 times 8, negative 6. So now I have negative 4 is equal to negative 6 plus b. So to solve for b, we move this on the other side. So I add 6 to both sides, cancel that out, and I get 2 is equal to b. So here's my equation 2. Again, to check, just go ahead and put it back in your calculator. Put a y equals and type in negative 3 divided by 4x plus 2, and bring up the table. And that point should be at 8, and it is. You see how it says 8, negative 4? So that means I have a correct equation, and I checked out. Now let me go ahead and switch over to the back. Now this one right here says, find the points of the graph which equation 7y 4x crosses the x and y axis. Now this is easy to do. The only thing I need to do is convert this again to slope-intercept form and then find those answers in my calculator. How I go about doing that is first I got to move the x on this other side. So negative 4x, negative 4x. Do the opposite because it gives me the benefit of canceling that, and I still follow. So my new equation becomes this: negative 4x plus 7y is equal to negative 28. From here, let's use our equation. Y is equal to negative abc, and we know that a is negative 4, b is 7, and c is negative 28. So the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. B is 7. I have my x. C is negative 28, and b is 7 again. This part reduces because this right here, you see how both of them are prime numbers? I know that that won't reduce. So let's go ahead and go this way and put in negative 4. And then from there, let's grab our calculator and see where x and y intercepts are at. Now 4 divided by 7, x plus negative 4. Let's bring up our table. Now there's one of my, you know what this is? When you see the x and 0, that's my x. That right there produces my x-intercept. So this is 7, 0. And then my other one is going to be at here, 0, -4. So there's my two intercepts. Again, one of them is found because x is when the y is 0, that's the x-intercept, and the other one, the y-intercept, the x is 0. So you'll have that answer. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at the next one. Now I'm going to try to zoom out so y'all get a better view of this. It's going to be a little difficult to see, but let me read the instructions, which is the most important part about this question. Which equation represents the line graph below? Now with this one right here, you'll notice that you have a line, and you see how all these right here, they're all in standard form. So if you wanted to use something to verify which one it is, you're going to have to take each one of these and convert them all. You have to convert each one of them to make them in the y-intercept form. So I'm going to go ahead and convert each one. I'm just going to do it by y is equal to negative a bx plus c over b, because remember negative abc. And in an effort to do this a little bit more quicker, I'm just going to go ahead and just look at it and do it as I go. So a is 2, so I'll put -2, the opposite of 2, over b, which is -6. And I have my x here, my c was 12. And then from there I go ahead and start with my b again, which is -6. So here's my equation on this one. This is y is equal to, you use your calculator to reduce all this. It actually should be, it reduces to 1/3 and 2, but yeah. Remember, do not forget the importance of math fracking it. So -2 divided by -6, math frac, tells you it's 1/3 x plus 12 divided by -6, math frac, -2. There's my equation. That's what gets typed in to see if I have those same points. So let's go y is equal. Now I'll be able to tell you right away that that equation is not going to work. And the reason being is that, let me show you the graph real quick. See how the graph looks like that? It doesn't match to it. So I could already discard that one. But the process I want you to take on this one is do this over and over again until you find the answer. So do this, this, and then keep on matching it until you find the answer. I suspect the answer is probably going to be down towards the bottom. It's either going to be D or C, just because they probably want you to work through each one of these. But just to see which one's the right answer, let me go ahead and work it out for y'all. So like on D part, again, don't forget y is equal to -abc over b. A is 2, b is -6, c is -12. And let's go ahead and put that in. Y is equal to the opposite of a, which is -2, over -6. Actually, I don't think that one's going to be right either, because I already could tell it's going to be a positive slope, and we need the slope to be negative. So it won't be this one, but this is the general idea you want to take. You want to convert them all each, and then compare which one's going to be. Now let's see if it's C. It may be C, just because actually I think it probably is going to be C. We're using the same equation or the same format. Let me go ahead and do the opposite of A over 6, and then from here, let's do C, which is 12, over B, which is 6. Yeah, this is probably going to be it, because you're going to have -1/3 x plus 2, and this is probably going to produce that equation there, because I see the two things. I see the correct y-intercept, which is this 2 here, and it's probably going to show up in the calculator as the same. So I imagine this is probably going to be my answer, but let me box it off and show you what I'm going to be inputting in here. Y is equal to, let's type in -1 divided by 3x plus 2. So from here, let's go ahead and bring up the graph, and I'll kind of give you an idea. If you notice, you see how it looks like it should be the right answer? What I'm going to use to verify is the y and x intercepts. So let me go ahead and do that. I'll do it through the table. Okay, first of all, 0, 2, that's that point there, so that verifies, and then I should also have 6, 0. And 6, 0 appears as well, so that means both of these verify, which means that C is my answer on this one. Okay, let's go ahead and go over to the back on this. Now this one right here is going to be the exact same thing we just did in the past, in this last one. So I'll go ahead and let y'all work on that. Okay, now for the value, okay, now this one right here, this is a good question. This is like one of the ones we just did yesterday. What I want you to do is take this, convert it into, using our formula, y is equal to negative ABC. Okay, and then from there, let's verify. Let's go ahead and write down A is 3, B is negative 4, and C is 28. Now let's use our equation. Now this might seem like I'm doing a lot, but it saves a lot of errors on your part. So if you want to make less mistakes and get a higher grade, I suggest doing this. Now I went ahead and took the opposite of A, negative 3, over negative 4, x plus 28 over negative 4. From here, let's just math frac both of these. So quit that out. Let's type in negative 3 divided by negative 4. Math frac. So we have y is equal to 3 over 4x. And then from here, we'll do the other side, which is 28 divided by negative 4. Math frac that, and we get negative 7. Now with this, we get the benefit of typing in y equals, and we'll type 3 divided by 4x plus negative 7, and I'm going to bring up the table. The table will tell me that I'm looking for the solution at negative 10, so I'm going to go over here and see when the y, you see how the y is negative 10, I'm going to see when does that equal negative 10, which is there. So that means that my solution for this one, that means that the x value on this one is negative 4. That's how you get the solution for that one. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and move down to this one. Now this one right here says the graph negative x plus y shown below. Which point represents solution to the equation? The best thing for you to do is to really you're trying to really find out which of these is on this line. Now you also have the ability, if you want to, is to convert this. Like you convert this into the, kind of like what we did here, because it's in standard form. Convert the slope intercept and then look at your table, kind of like what we did there. Or you could just see which of these is on this line, because these are all the solutions. So they're not all the solutions. One of these is a solution, which indicates one of them will be on the line. Like here, you see 0, 2, that's not on the line. Negative 7, 1, that one's on the line. That's my solution. And I bet you the rest are just not going to be there. 2, negative 2, that's over here. No. And 3, 3. Hold on a second. Did I make a mistake on this? Oh, I made a mistake. Negative 7, negative 1 is down here. So this is the reason why it's a good idea to look at all the answers. This is not it. This is my solution. So in this case, D is my solution. Let's go ahead and move over to the next page on this and speak about this. Okay. Now it talks about here, it says a function y equals 2x minus 3 is graphed below. And it gives us a graph. And it says if the slope above of the function is multiplied by negative 2, which statement will represent the new function? So if it tells you to manipulate to multiply by negative 2 here, that means we're going to take this equation that's right up here and multiply it by negative 2. Now this part right here is slope. So I'm going to multiply this by negative 2. Means my new equation is going to be negative 4x minus 3. Now, so either this equation is going to appear here, well, let me write it down here as well. Here's my new equation, y is equal to negative 4x minus 3. And now let's go ahead and verify the answers and see which one's the best one to represent it. Now with this new equation here, remember this is no longer, we're not going to use this as any kind of reference point anymore, because this is our new equation. Now let's go ahead and see, like A does not match it, that's not a good representation. It says the graph of the new function will contain these points. Well, we could find that out by typing in y equals. So let's do that. See if it contains those points. Negative 4x minus 3. Let's bring up our table and let's see if it contains the points negative 1, 7. Nope, it doesn't contain negative 1, 7, so that's gone already. Let's say this says the slope will remain positive and get steeper. Well, the slope became negative because you see the negative 4 in front of the x. So that's not right. And then the graph will contain the new points. Let's see if that's true. So you see negative 2, 5 is there. And now let's see if it has 2, negative 11. It does too. So this is my correct response for that one. Now let's go ahead and move on to question 10. Question 10 has this. It says the function, let's start with above. The function y equals negative 4x plus 2 is graphed below. If the slope is multiplied by 2, which would be the best representation of the statement? Well, again, it wants us to multiply the slope by 2, which means we have this new function. Y is equal to 2 on negative 8x plus 2. And from here, let's go ahead and write it down over here, because then I'm going to go ahead and compare it to all the answers and see which one represents the new function. In this case, this one does not, because it's still in range negative. This is the graph of the new function will contain the point 0, 4, and 2. Again, let's verify. I'm going to go ahead and type y equals, go into negative 8x plus 2. Let's see if it has those points. 0, 4, ooh, you see how it says 0, 2? That's a fail. We don't need that anymore. Let's go over to the next one, which is, let's see, it says the graph of the new function will contain point 0, 2. Well, it does have 0, 2. And it does have 2, negative 14, so this is the right answer. And if you want, you can check D just to make sure it's not. The slope will be positive, the slope is negative, so we know that's not right either. Okay, perfect. Now let's go ahead and move number 11. Now I like number 11 because it has dealt with some, well, actually 11 and 12 deal with two things we haven't really covered a whole lot in class, but it's something that is going to be important for us. Now it says the math club decided to buy t-shirts for its member of the clothing company. The prices of the shirts are as below. And you can see that it talks about, and I'll zoom in so you all get a little bit better view of this. And it gives us the t-shirt and then the cost. Now this is my independent, this is my dependent. And they went ahead and gave their own variables. It says which equation represents the ratio between the cost. So this is going to be C, and this is going to be S. Now the nice thing about this is that this is kind of like points, so I could do stat edit, stat calc. So if I bring up my calculator, I go to stat edit and type in my 2 points, 2's 1075 and 15105. Okay, with that, let's go to stat calc. Oh, you know what, notice I wasn't in the screen. Go ahead and bring this out to the screen. Okay, all I did is, let me go back and I type in the 2 points, 1075 and 15105. Now I'm going to do stat calc, go to number 4, hit enter, and there's my equation. Y is equal to 6x plus 15. Now the only thing we need to make a difference on this one, let me zoom out, is that we're not going to use x and y, we're going to use s and c. So writing this equation is going to look like this. Y is equal to, oh not y, I'm sorry, c. See how c is y? Let me put it down here. C is equal to 6s plus 15. So I'm going to look for the equation that looks like that. And as you can see, it's C. Now this is an important point. You notice A was very similar to my answer. The difference is it didn't put the variables, didn't match up. So that's why it's important to know the variables as well. And now let's look at 12. 12, I think it asks us to do something similar to it. It says the table shown below is the amount of gasoline left in the motorcycle's gas tank after driving several hours. It says the equation represents the ratio between the gas, so this is G, that's my Y, and the hours driven. This is hours, so this is my H. Again, this is 2 points, so I could go ahead and do stat edit, stat calc again. So let's go stat edit and type this in. Then type in 0, 3, and then 10, 2.5. And then after that, let me go ahead and go to stat calc. And you'll see that in my case, this is my equation. Now, again, we got to go ahead and put in the correcting. So instead of putting, let me make sure I got all that up here. Instead of putting y equals, I'm going to go ahead and put g equals. So I'm going to put g is equal to Let's see, it's going to be 0.5, negative 0.5 h plus 3. So I'm going to see which one equals that, and I need g equals, so it's going to be this one here, b. And b is my answer in this case. Okay, now for this last page, I'm just going to go ahead and go over the answers for it. For question 13, after you read the paragraph, you should have gotten this kind of setup to it. And if you're going to solve it by hand, you do the whole SADMIT process of working PIMDAS backwards, and then you'll find out that the actual solution is 22. The alternate way to do it, if you like, is put in your calculator y equals with the equation, and then just look at your calculator. Now the other thing, the next one about solving,
Seniors,
you'll
this is a
find out
reminder.
right
The
here.
counselors are in the
All
foyer
I
with
did
your
is the
senior
steps.
ranks at this
So you can
time.
see the steps right here.
Seniors, please stop by the foyer for your senior rank.
And for the last two, you're going to see that all we did is I just did the whole negative ABC, converted to y equals, and then looked at my table and brought out 2 points. And the same thing on this side. Now this one required for you to distribute first, and then I had to also move the x onto the other side so it could look like this in standard form, and then perform my negative ABC to get it into my slope-intercept form. But from there, when I got my table, and then was able to go ahead and graph those points as well. Thank you.